I'm Natalie and this is James, and welcome aboard our floating home Zephyr. Over the past 5 years, we've been on an incredible journey sailing around the world, accompanied by our two trusty dog crew members, Flint and Kira. Join us every Friday for a new video documenting our adventures. Don't forget to subscribe and be part of the journey.
Well, hello everybody. Today is going to be epic because we have a big job that we need to do here on Zephyr, and I think something that is really going to improve our boat in a lot of ways. And maybe this is something you need to do on your boat, and something maybe you even actually haven't thought of. So what am I talking about? Well, we're talking about engine mounts, specifically the mounts for our main engine here on our sailboat. And those engine mounts are hypercritical when it comes to several things about your sailboat. One, the vibrations that are happening as a result of bad mounts to your engine. That's vibrations on your prop shaft as well, or sail drive, depending on what style you have. It's also noise. You're getting a lot of loud vibrating noise happening in your engine bay. That can be a result of your engine mounts as well. And you know, engine mounts have a lifespan to them. And to be honest, I've got to admit guilt on this part. I never really thought about them as well. I just went, oh, they're corroding a little bit, clean them off, give them a lick of paint, happy days, keep going. But, you know, on Zephyr here, you know, the other month, Nat just sort of started saying, hey, you know, our engine's starting to sound a little louder than normal. And there seems to be a lot more rattling. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with the engine per se, so that was my first thing, and I started checking it, and no, engine's fine. So I dived a little bit more into it, and I realized it's engine mounts. That's the problem we're having. They're old. I think they are the original engine mounts that came with the boat, so our boat's just turned 14. So what is the lifespan of marine engine mounts on your sailboat engine? Well, they say it's about 4 years or every 1,000 hours on your engine. And I can tell you right now, we are well beyond that. We've been cruising now straight for 6 years. But as far as engine hours, we probably put about 2,500 engine hours over the last 6 years. Now, to a lot of people, that might be like, wow, that's a lot. But let's not forget, we've been sailing for 6 years, but we've been sailing around the world. We've done 40 to 50,000 nautical miles now. We've been across the Atlantic to the Med. We've circled the Med a couple times. We've come back across the Atlantic. We've done the Caribbeans. We've been down to Panama. We've turned around and gone up to Colombia and up to the Bahamas, up and down the East Coast a bunch of times. Like, we put lots of miles on this boat. And when you go to all these different parts of the world, unfortunately, sometimes you have to motor. It could be bad weather. It could be avoiding bad weather. It could be because there's just no wind, and the alternative is really bad weather and you want to get somewhere. And, you know, although we don't have a deadline, really the main deadline for us is the weather systems or the weather seasons. So sometimes you just got to go. So we motor. And that happens, and when you are constantly sailing as much as we do, you inevitably motor more than probably most sailors would. So 2,500 engine hours over 6 years, I'm pretty happy with it. So yeah, so we're well beyond the life of these motor mounts, and if they haven't been changed since the boat was new, because I can't find anything in the log, it's possible, then they'd be well overdue. So they need to be done. So that's going to be our job today. It's going to be, I'm a little nervous about this job because there are things that can really go wrong. If the engine isn't supported properly, the alignment of the transmission and the prop shaft can get out of whack, and the tolerances for that are so small. So typically when this job is done, people pull their boat out of the water, they stick it on the hard, they will disconnect the prop shaft from the transmission on the engine. Some even pull their engines, like they lift them up with a crane and then remove the mounts, put them back down, reconnect, get the alignment correct. We're not going to do that. We're probably going to break every rule. I just hope we don't break anything on the boat. We're going to do this while the boat's in the water. and we're not actually going to disconnect the prop shaft. So my method for doing this, and I'm probably going to get crucified by all of the keyboard warriors online, and please let me know in the comments, tell me everything I do wrong, tell me if I've just made the biggest mistake in my life. But what we're going to do is we're going to go one engine mount at a time. We are going to basically create a support under the side that we're going to remove of each engine mount. So once that side's supported, and I've taken my measurements, I will remove that engine mount, get the new engine mount prepped, install the new engine mount, make sure that it's snug and all that, and then obviously remove that support, and hopefully the alignment stays correct. Take my measurements once that's come out, and if I need to adjust up or down a little bit, I will. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to do one by one by one by one. So let's talk about the engine mounts we're going to put in. So gosh, they vary, and I did so much research online. You can buy the ones from Yanmar. We have a Yanmar engine. I could have ordered from them, and they cost a fortune, like anything Yanmar does, unfortunately. And you can buy some really cheap ones from Asia that, you know, you can get them for next to nothing. You get a whole set for like $100, which is really, really cheap. And you'll probably get what you pay for. Bad quality, whatever the shock absorber is made out of will probably be really poor quality. The metal will be really poor quality. The corrosion protection will be really poor quality. The bolts, which are, and the way that system works, will probably be made of really poor quality metal as well. So you'll get what you pay for. But that being said, it doesn't mean you need to order the Yanmar thing, which costs twice or three times the price of what you really should be spending on engine mounts. So after a lot of research, a lot of forums, things like that, I kept getting pushed back onto this one brand. And to be honest, I'd actually looked this brand up before I started digging down through the forums. And I really liked this company. You know, everything about these engine mounts is exactly what I was looking for. So what are these engine mounts? So we have gone with this really cool brand called Ellebogen. I think that's how it's pronounced. The company's going to crucify me if they see this video. But yeah, these are the engine mounts we have gone with. Their website is incredible. It's basically a company that's derived of sailors that care about the parts that they make. And this is all they make. They're not a company that makes many different boat parts. All they do is make engine mounts. And it's fantastic. The quality is excellent. Their ethos of, you know, about the product they make is exactly what Zephyr aligns with. You know, they care about the sailors they're making the parts for, and they care about the parts they are making. All right, so this is our engine, and this is the starboard side here. So I think I'm going to try and do this engine mount first. We're gonna give it a crack. See how we go here. A little bit nervous. So, as I said, my theory is I'm going to use a jack here to prop that part of the engine up so that it's not gonna drop or anything. I'm gonna take a lateral and vertical measurement, and then, yeah, we'll proceed here to see how we go. All right, let's have at it. Okay, so what I've done is I've got the jack, and it's just sitting there. Now, I haven't cranked it up because I don't want these engine mounts, you can actually lift, and I don't want to do that. I just want it to be wedged, and I put this piece of timber there just so the jack doesn't move like that, and it's just sitting on the edge of the engine block here. It's literally just to take, you know, to stop any movement of the engine dropping, that's all. I'm not looking to prop the engine up, if that makes sense. So now I'm going to take my measurements. Okay, so obviously something I've realized, and I can't believe I was this stupid, is there's no way if I undo this mount to just slide it away, because this bolt doesn't actually drop down. I don't know why I thought that. That was so stupid. I could just cut this bolt head off and take it off, but just under here is the 4 bolts that holds the engine mount bracket on. So I will just undo those, and then I can pull the whole thing away, and that's how we'll do it. All right, so this is loose. I've taken all this off. So now we should be able to. Should be able to. Oh, wow. So yeah, I would say it's a fair assessment. This is the original engine mount for this boat. Oh, just look at that. That's gonna hurt, because that was like bonded. Oh, that's the bracket. That looks okay. We'll give that a clean up right there. But that was like, whew. So if we look at these 2 engine mounts, I mean, the first thing you can see is like, look at the gap here, how much this is compressed, and look at the gap here. I mean, this could be a slight manufacturing thing, but I can tell you right now, like, that is what it looks like brand new. Obviously when the engine settles on it, but this you can see is just stays compressed now. So who knows if, you know, all that, you know, if that metal was hitting the top of that. Definitely a noticeable change, and for sure just highlights why we're changing these engine mounts. I gotta look at that. That's all right. As my dad used to say, if you're not getting hurt, you're not trying hard enough. I don't know if that's good fatherly advice or not. All right, we're gonna put this new one in. We have mounted this new one down. As you can see, looks good. We have put the bracket back on. I have adjusted. I'm going to now start checking the height of this to make sure we're at, from the bottom of this, we are from here to the bottom of this, we are at 3 3/4. And we're going to do that by adjusting the bolt under here. Ooh, tiny little bit. That looks pretty spot on. And now we'll put on, these are called the Nord locking washers. They go down like that. And then we take our massive big bolt here. That will go like that. And it doesn't need to be super tight, it just needs to be tight. And we'll double check it hasn't moved our height. 3 3/4. And there you go. There's our first engine mount. Looking good. Compared to that, ugh. You can see this is where, like, that one's not as bad. The back one here is not as bad as that other one, but yeah, that looks good. All right, that was the first one, nice and easy. Let's do the other one. All right, so I just pulled off the port side front engine mount, and I'll tell you what, it's a sign. Look at this. You ready? Broken. Absolutely broken. See, this one, even the old one, this one, attached. Broken. So we actually had a broken engine mount. Wow. All right, I'm gonna clean that space up and install the new one. So we've got this fixed down. We've just put this on loose. These are all fixed tight against the engine, so now we're just going to double check our height here, and then we will tighten it down. Wow, spot on. So that is perfect. All right, well, that's 2 down. Those are the easiest ones. This side, the port side where the starter motor is, the transmission, you got the heat exchanger and all that. Wow. All right, well, just as I suspected, the first 2 were really easy. The last 2, oh my gosh, it's nighttime. And luckily they're like super old and brittle, but I basically had to, which is it? That one? Yeah. I had to break that off to get that off, because this bolt was absolutely seized. Basically undid the engine bracket, and then I just grabbed the mount and I just pulled that top bit off, and it just broke right off. Like super easy, didn't have to try. And then I was able to get the engine bracket off. Well, that's it, guys. The engine mounts are changed. It was a huge job. Yeah, I mean, the first 2, like I said, not too bad. Those back 2 took me so long. It's just obviously because everything's there, but check it out. It's a little dark because it's quite late. Look at those engine mounts, looking good. Yeah, look at that. Well, that's it. It was a huge job, and I'm exhausted. I'm covered in grease, and I've got cuts all over my hands. The puppies are tired. It's been a long day, but I'm so happy. It was obviously a job that had to be done. Didn't even know I had a broken engine mount. That's so crazy. So I think it must have happened just recently, but maybe not. I don't know. But be that as it may, it's like, it just feels so good. I feel like, you know, things could have gotten a lot worse. So yeah, really happy I did that. And make sure you check your engine mounts. If you have any questions, again, about these particular engine mounts, they come from Spain. Somebody was asking me on the dock, and yeah, they're excellent. Check it out. The link's in the description below. It's a really cool company, really affordable. Yeah, I can't say enough about them, and I'm looking forward in the morning to starting the engine up. I'm not gonna start up now. I don't want to wake up the neighbors. But yeah, can't wait. Anyways, that's it. I'm off to bed. Well, off to the shower, off to bed, and on to the next job. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Leave some comments below. Let me know if you've done your engine mounts. what kind of mistakes I made or what kind of mistakes you made. I love to hear what people do and do right, do wrong, so that, you know, hopefully I can avoid some pitfalls down the road. All right, take it easy. Night. If you'd like to be a part of the journey and become a patron, go to the link you see here on the screen. Another way you can support us is by hitting that subscribe button.